we had just now discussed about the mixtures of non-reactive gases. Another very important parameter would be a mixture of real gases, the ideal gases with vapors. The vapors can be treated as ideal gas, where if they exist in superheated state, but if they exist as wet vapor or saturated vapor, they cannot be treated as an ideal gas, and separate analysis has to be made for gas vapor mixtures. And this particular working substance is very important in air conditioning applications. In air conditioning, we analyze the problems where the control of vapor, that is the moisture in the controlled climate, is very important, and these gas vapor mixtures play a very important role in air conditioning. The analysis for mixture of a perfect gas has been discussed earlier. This analysis is applicable to all gaseous mixtures if the composition of mixture is constant and they can be treated as pure substance. These rules are applicable to gas vapor mixtures also if the vapor is in superheated state and its proportion is also fixed. Atmospheric air, the most common example of gas vapor mixtures. In this gas vapor mixture, dry air is considered as a pure substance. However, when water vapor is associated with however, the water vapor is always associated with it in normal practice, and the composition of water vapor with dry air changes with change in atmospheric temperature during the day, and as such this mixture under such conditions cannot be considered as a pure substance, and additional parameters are required for the analysis of such mixture. Psychrometry is the name given to study of air water vapor mixture. I would like to explain it. Air that is associated with water vapor, of course, if its composition does not change, we can treat this air as pure substance, but we are aware that composition of water vapor in the air is changing with time and with the season. In the morning, the moisture contents of air would be more. As the day progresses, in the afternoon, the humidity contents, the moisture contents of air may decrease. In the evening, again they may increase, and as such during the day, composition of air, the atmospheric air, as far as it is concerned with dry air and moisture components, that is variable, and if this composition is variable, it cannot be considered as a pure substance, and different set of conditions are required, different set of analysis is required for analyzing the problems in air conditioning, and this science which deals with composition of air and moisture is defined as psychrometry. In psychrometry, in air conditioning, we are concerned with moist air, and normal atmospheric air is the moist air, and it consists of dry air along with some water vapor associated with it. At normal atmospheric temperature, the water vapor is superheated state. Saturated air is the mixture of dry air and water vapor, in which the partial pressure of water vapor is equal to the saturation pressure of the water at the temperature of the mixture is said to be saturated air. When the mixture is saturated, that means when the partial pressure of water vapor in that air is equal to its saturation pressure, then we call this air as saturated air. Unsaturated air, the mixture of dry air and water vapor, where the partial pressure of water vapor being lower than the saturation pressure of water at the given temperature, the mixture is called unsaturated air. When the partial pressure of water vapor is lower than the saturation pressure of the water vapor is in superheated state, and when the water vapor is in superheated state, we call this mixture of air and water vapor as unsaturated air, and supersaturated air, the mixture of air and water vapor in which partial pressure of water vapor is more than the saturation pressure, it is called supersaturated air. When the partial pressure of water vapor is more than saturation pressure, that means suspended water particles are associated with the water vapor, and these water vapor the partial pressure of water vapor under the condition is more, the steam is, the water vapor is wet, and this air would is defined as supersaturated air. What we see during the winters, in the morning there is lot of fog. This fog is a form of supersaturated air, because this air in the morning, when we see that there is a fog, that air consists of water particles associated with the water vapor, and therefore, the visibility becomes poor and it is supersaturated air. Then in for this moist air, the humid air, we have to define certain additional properties, and these properties of moist air have been defined here. The first property that we need for moist air is dry bulb temperature. The temperature as measured by a normal thermometer is called dry bulb temperature. Temperature of the air is dry bulb temperature. The other property of moist air is dew point temperature. The temperature at which water vapor in air would begin to condense if air is cooled, keeping the pressure constant, is called dew point temperature. We must have seen that if we keep a chilled glass of water on the table, the water droplets, they start condensing on the surface of the glass. That means, the moisture in the air that starts separating, and the temperature where this condensation starts is defined as the dew point temperature. This is the temperature at which air gets saturated with water, and partial pressure of water vapor is equal to saturation pressure at dew point temperature, and any temperature below this, the water will become would start separating from the air, and separation of moisture takes place. Then the next property is the wet bulb temperature. The temperature measured by a wet bulb thermometer, a thermometer whose bulb is covered with a wick saturated with water and placed in moist air. Whatever is the temperature that would be measured by this thermometer, which is known as wet bulb thermometer, is defined as wet bulb temperature. This is a wet bulb thermometer. It is a simple glass thermometer whose wick whose bulb is covered with a cotton wick, and this cotton wick is kept moist by water always, and because of the capillary action this water rises up, and this wick is always wetted, and when the wick is wetted and any air moves across this wick, evaporation of water will take place. Once the evaporation of water takes place, the temperature as read by thermometer would be less than the temperature of the air. Air is at a certain temperature, but when it flows over the wick, the temperature of the wick will get reduced because of evaporation of water. The sensible heat of water is converted into latent heat, the temperature reduces, and the temperature as read by this thermometer would be less than the air temperature, and the temperature that will be read by this thermometer is defined as the wet bulb temperature. The phenomena is same as the in earthen pots the water gets cooled. This is because of evaporation of water from the surface. The same thing happens here. The evaporation takes place from the surface of the thermometer bulb, and because evaporation takes place from the surface of the thermometer bulb, the temperature as read by this thermometer would be lower than the air temperature, and this temperature as read by this wet bulb thermometer is defined as wet bulb temperature. Then many more properties that are required to be defined are the specific humidity. It is defined as the ratio of the mass of water vapor to the mass of dry air. Dry air consists of a mixture of water vapor and dry air. Suppose m A is mass of the dry air and m W is the mass of water vapor associated with dry air, then specific humidity W will be equal to m W upon m A, as it has been written here. As per definition, W will be m W upon m A. Now, m W, the water vapor, if it is in the superheated state, we can apply the gas equation. M W will be equal to P W V into R W T. This is simple gas equation. P V equal to m R T or m equal to P V upon R T. So, for water vapor we write by subscript W. So, P W partial pressure of water vapor multiplied by volume divided by the gas constant for steam into T. For m A we can write P A V divided by R A T, where P A is the partial pressure of dry air. This equation can be V goes off, T also goes off, they cancel away, and therefore, the equation can be written as P W into R A divided by P A into R W. P W into R, we can write this as m W into R bar divided by m A and P A R bar divided by m W, or this becomes P W m W upon P A m A. R A can be written as m W R bar and R A can be written as m A R bar, and that gives the equation as P W m W divided by P A m A. M W upon m A, m W is 18, m A is for air it is 29. So, the molecular weights of water vapor and air being substituted here, W is equal to 0.622 multiplied by P W upon P A, that is 0.622 P W upon P minus P W. P A partial pressure of air is equal to barometric pressure minus partial pressure of water vapor from Dalton's law of partial pressures, and therefore, we can write W is equal to 0.622 P W upon P minus P W. This is how we can calculate the specific humidity. The next property for air is relative humidity. We represent it by letter phi, and relative humidity is defined as the ratio of partial pressure of water vapor to the partial pressure of water vapor if the air would have been saturated at the dry bulb temperature of the air. That is, if air, the actual partial pressure of air is P W, and if this air is saturated at the same temperature, same dry bulb temperature, and if the partial pressure becomes P W S, then ratio of P W upon P W S is equal to T. This is unsaturated air. Normally, air exists as unsaturated air, and if lot of moisture is added to the air, it would become saturated. and when we add moisture to the air, its partial pressure would increase, and if the temperature is kept constant while adding the moisture, the saturation pressure of air at the given temperature would be P W S. Ratio of P W upon P W S is relative humidity phi. The next property is degree of saturation. It is defined as the ratio of specific humidity to the specific humidity if the air would have been saturated at the given temperature. That is, the specific humidity of air at a given condition is W, and if the air is moisture is added and it becomes saturated at the same pressure and temperature, the specific humidity would be W s. Then W upon W s at the given temperature and pressure is defined as degree of saturation. Then another property is adiabatic saturation temperature. This adiabatic saturation temperature is defined as, it has been shown schematically in the diagram. If air is allowed to pass, consists of long insulating chamber containing water, a steady stream of unsaturated air having specific humidity W here and dry bulb temperature T is allowed to pass through this chamber. This chamber contains water and it is insulated. No heat is allowed to enter into the system, nor it is allowed to flow out of the system. When the air flows through this chamber, as the air is unsaturated, water vapor will evaporate in the air, and ultimately if it is very long chamber, when the air leaves the chamber, it will get saturated, and as the air gets saturated by evaporation of water in the chamber, then the heat, the latent heat of evaporation of water will be extracted from the sensible heat of air. That is, the sensible heat of air will be converted into its latent heat, and as sensible heat is converted into latent heat, the temperature of air and temperature of the air will reduce, and at the outlet the temperature of the air would be less than the temperature of the air at inlet, and if it is saturated, it is brought to saturation condition under adiabatic conditions. This temperature at outlet to the chamber would be termed as adiabatic saturation temperature. Air has been saturated adiabatically in the chamber, and therefore, this temperature T 2 is adiabatic saturation temperature, and we call this temperature, we denote this temperature as T asterisk. The moisture in the air increases and the temperature decreases, the latent heat of vaporization of water is drawn from the air. If the channel is long, the air stream at exit is saturated air at temperature T 2, and this air temperature is called temperature of adiabatic saturation. This temperature is also known as thermodynamic wet bulb temperature T star. These are the properties of air which are required to be defined for all air conditioning purposes. Then the properties that are required for calculation are the enthalpy of the moist air. Enthalpy of the moist air is expressed as sum of the enthalpies of dry air and enthalpy of associated water. We had earlier in the earlier lecture, we had discussed the Gibbs-Dalton law. Gibbs-Dalton law says that the property of a mixture is sum of the properties of its constituents. So, here the constituents are considered as dry air and water vapor. So, the enthalpy of moist air would be sum of the enthalpy of dry air plus enthalpy of water vapor. H v is the specific enthalpy multiplied by the mass of the water vapor associated with dry air. So, H a is the enthalpy of 1 kg of dry air, whereas W into H w is the enthalpy of water vapor associated with 1 kg of dry air, and therefore, the total enthalpy would be H a plus W H g kilojoules per kilogram of dry air. We measure this per kilogram of dry air and not as per kilogram of the total air, because the water vapor component is constantly changing with dry air. So, we have to have a datum which is constant, and that constant datum is taken as per kilogram of dry air. Whatever is the moisture associated with 1 kilogram dry air, that is added to H A, and the total enthalpy H A plus W H G is the enthalpy of moist air in kilojoules per kilogram of air. All these properties which we have just now defined have been tabulated in psychrometric tables, and they are plotted on psychrometric chart. The tables of course can be used for very precise calculation, but it is very tedious to use tables for computation thermodynamic calculations, and more convenient tool for calculation of these properties and various other calculations. Psychrometric chart is the most preferred tool. All these properties have been represented graphically on this psychrometric chart, and the basic properties are shown here. This figure shows the psychrometric chart here. On this psychrometric chart, the dry bulb temperature is taken on x axis. It is plotted in the second quadrant, the first second quadrant, and the x axis represent on the x axis we plot the dry bulb temperature, whereas on the abscissa, that is the y axis, the specific humidity is being plotted. This is a plot between dry bulb temperature and specific humidity. Now, on this coordinates dry bulb and specific humidity charts, the saturation curve has been plotted here. That this curve shows the properties of saturated air for saturated air. Okay. Now, so relative humidity lines have been plotted as curves shown here. This is one relative humidity line, the other relative humidity line, and so on. So, saturation curve is on the left hand side, and constant relative humidity lines are the curves plotted in the region between the saturation curve and the two axes. This is the saturation curve, the x axis and y axis. There are many curves shown here. These curves show the relative humidity lines, say 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, and so on. Then constant wet bulb temperature lines are the green lines shown here. These are the green lines, which these green lines, the inclined lines. The line here, this shows the wet bulb temperature, and so on. So, wet bulb temperature lines are plotted in green color on this particular chart. The temperature, wet bulb temperature that can be read on this chart is at this particular point. Whatever is the dry bulb temperature at this point, you just go vertically down. If you want to know what is the wet bulb temperature at this line, come to the saturation curve, go vertically down, and here whatever is the temperature, that is the wet bulb temperature along this line. Okay? I will explain it. These are constant relative humidity lines phi 1, phi 2 and phi 3. The constant wet bulb temperature lines are inclined lines marked here, and the wet bulb temperature, if you want to know what is the wet bulb temperature along this line, go to the saturation curve, go vertically down, and whatever is the temperature that is read at this point will be the wet bulb temperature along this line. This line would represent this wet bulb temperature, this line would represent this wet bulb temperature. So, this is how we can read the wet bulb temperature line, wet bulb temperature on the psychrometric chart. The constant enthalpy lines are the lines which are coincident with the wet bulb temperature lines. The same lines would represent constant enthalpy lines, but they are read on different scale. This line would represent constant enthalpy also, but the value of enthalpy would be given at on the scale that is marked here. So, this is the enthalpy scale and this is the wet bulb temperature value. So, constant enthalpy lines are coincident with wet bulb temperature lines and values can be read on the enthalpy scale above the saturation curve. Constant specific lines are also plotted and they are steeper in slope. This is the slope of the wet bulb temperature lines, whereas this is the constant volume line marked on the psychrometric chart. It is steeper in slope. For saturated air, dry bulb, wet bulb and dew point temperatures are the same at saturation curve. At this point, the dew point temperature, wet bulb temperature and dry bulb temperature is the same. When air becomes saturated, the dew point temperature along this line would be given by this value, the wet bulb temperature along this line would be given by this value and dry bulb temperature of air would be given here. So, at saturation curve, the temperature represented by this particular point would give us the value of dew point temperature, the wet bulb temperature as well as the dry bulb temperature. How to use this psychrometric chart? This is the psychrometric chart and we want to find out the properties of air for a given set of properties. A minimum of 2 properties must be known to us to find out all other properties that was discussed in the initial lectures. Suppose we are given that air exists at a relative humidity of 60% and dry bulb temperature of 25%, 25 degrees centigrade, then find out all other properties. So, at 60% relative humidity line and 25 degrees centigrade, mark this particular point. This is the state point of the air at the given condition. All the properties are required to be calculated for this. They are to be read for this particular air. This is the condition point of the air. The specific humidity would be given here. This is W on the y axis. The wet bulb temperature would be given by this line. Wet bulb temperature at this point would be follow this line up to this saturation curve and at this saturation curve read this temperature. This is the wet bulb temperature. How to read wet bulb temperature? Follow the constant wet bulb temperature line passing through this point and where it intersects the saturation curve, go vertically down up to the dry bulb temperature line and whatever is the dry bulb temperature at this point, that is the wet bulb temperature of air here. The dew point temperature of air at this point, go horizontally to the saturation curve at this point where this intersects the saturation curve, go vertically down and this point read this temperature and this is the dew point temperature. Move horizontally to saturation curve, go vertically down and at this point read the temperature and that will be the dew point temperature of the air. So, for a given set of conditions of the air, all the properties can be calculated and the enthalpy of air at this point would be given by on the enthalpy scale. Whatever is the enthalpy here in kilojoules per per kg of air that can be read. So, knowing this particular set, with the help of a psychrometric chart, all the properties can be calculated, and once these properties can be have been calculated, all air conditioning calculations can be made, right. So, this is how we can make use of the properties of air and vapor, and the properties can be evaluated, calculated, and can be used for computation of air conditioning or any other type of application. Thank you.